In the opening scene, Bilbo at the age of 11 is rewriting the story of his life into a book so that Frodo can read it one day. Then the story flashes back 60 years earlier, when the dwarves still lived in magnificent cities inside the mountains. Their kingdom was prosperous like paradise and ruled by King Thror of the line of Thorin Oakenshield. The house of Thorin was mighty. The dwarves were said to be the richest in the world because within their mountains ran rivers of gold and precious gems. They were master craftsmen. One day a dwarf discovered deep inside the mountain a massive jewel called the Heart of the Mountain. King Thror saw it as a symbol of royal power. Many years passed in peace and prosperity, until from the north appeared a terrifying dragon named Smaug. It spewed fire and destroyed every city in its path, then stormed into the mountain where the dwarves lived. Smaug seized all the gold and treasure, including the heart of the mountain, and made it his lair. The dwarves went from proud owners of great riches to wandering exiles without homes. The elves arrived, but when the grandson of King Thror begged for help, the elven king refused out of fear of the dragon's wrath. So the dwarves were abandoned and forced to flee. Prince Thorin even worked for men. Those who once lived in golden halls now suffered hunger and exile. Many years later, the wizard Gandalf suddenly held a strange feast at Bilbo's house. Even Bilbo himself had no idea what was happening. That night 13 dwarves appeared. Among them Thorin Oakenshield, King Thror's grandson and their leader. During the feast, they explained that birds had begun returning to Erebor, their former home. According to prophecy, when the birds return to Erebor, it means Smaug is nearing his end. Thorin said, if we see the sign, others surely have as well. They will come for the treasure and gold in Erebor, but we will not allow it. We will slay Smaug and reclaim our home and honor. Another dwarf said, but you forget, the main gate has been sealed. There is no entrance. Then Gandalf smiled and produced a key, saying, your father entrusted it to me for safekeeping. Seeing this, another dwarf said, if there is a key, then there must be a secret door inside. Gandalf replied, exactly, near the ruins on the mountain slope. There is a hidden passage leading down to chambers far below, but finding it will not be easy, because the door of Erebor is invisible. After that, Gandalf produced a map and said, this map holds the answer. It may reveal where the door lies, but I cannot read it. However, in Middle-earth, there are still those who understand this ancient language and secret symbols. Then Gandalf added, on this journey, Bilbo will be joining us, for the dragon can smell dwarves, but cannot recognize the scent of a hobbit. When it comes time to infiltrate the mountain, Bilbo will be the most useful. But Bilbo panicked and said he would not go. That dragon could burn me in an instant. And he flatly refused. But the next morning, after the dwarves and Gandalf departed, Bilbo suddenly felt a strange urge. He rushed after them and signed the contract they offered. From that moment, Bilbo officially became the 14th member of the group of 13 dwarves, setting out together toward Erebor, where Smaug lay hidden. After a long day of travel, when they stopped to rest for the night, the group realized goblins were lurking nearby. An older dwarf began recounting memories of when Smaug took our mountain. Our king tried to reclaim the ancient city, but before he could, the ORC army arrived. Their leader was a monstrous creature, and cruel Thorin's grandfather fought him. But Azog beheaded the king. The shock drove Thorin's father mad, and he vanished forever. But Thorin did not give up. He fought Azog barehanded. And in that long brutal battle, he severed one of Azog's arms with his sword. That day Azog realized the line of Thorin would not fall easily, but in that battle, nearly the entire dwarf army was destroyed. Only a few survived. Then the dwarf proudly said that day, I realized only Thorin Oakenshield could reunite the dwarves. Therefore today, Thorin and 12 other dwarves are determined to reclaim Erebor. And Gandalf knows it is their rightful claim. So he stands beside them. The next morning, the company continued on. Along the way, Gandalf explained there are 5 wizards. The strongest and wisest is the White Wizard. There are also 2 blue wizards. And finally, the Brown Wizard, who loves animals more than people, living among beasts in the forest. Then Gandalf told Thorin, "We should go meet the elves, for only they can read the map I gave you." But Thorin, as a prince of the dwarves, grew angry when the dragon destroyed our homes. The elves turned their backs. They did not help us when we needed them most. I will never go to them again. Hearing this, Gandalf angrily stormed off, leaving the company to camp for the night. In the darkness, 3 massive trolls appeared and stole their ponies. Without horses, the journey was stalled. They sent Bilbo to sneak closer to retrieve them. But when Bilbo approached, the trolls spotted and captured him. Soon, the entire dwarf company was seized, and the trolls prepared to roast them over a fire. One troll shouted, "Hurry, the sun is rising. If daylight hits us, we will turn to stone." At that moment, Bilbo cleverly stalled them by talking and turning the 3 against each other. They began shouting at one another, and the sun rose. Just then Gandalf appeared atop the rocks, slamming his staff against the cliff to split it open. And sunlight poured directly onto them. Within moments, all 3 turned to stone, thanks to Bilbo's wit and Gandalf's magic. The dwarves survived and continued their journey. Along the road they met the brown wizard, the 5th wizard Gandalf had mentioned. He was completely different. His clothes were muddy. Birds and forest creatures circled him. He said the forest was sick. The trees no longer grew, and giant spiders had taken over. They came from an ancient fortress in the woods, once the lair of Sauron. Gandalf was stunned, but that fortress was abandoned long ago. Radagast replied, "No, it is not abandoned. I went there and saw an ancient shadow, a dark spirit able to summon the dead. It attacked me, but I escaped. And in the darkness, I glimpsed it. It was Sauron." Saying that, Radagast drew a strange sword and showed it to Gandalf. This blade was not forged by men. It does not belong to the living world. Gandalf glanced at it and knew Radagast spoke the truth. The darkness was returning. At that moment, chilling howls echoed nearby. Gandalf said, "They were Orc war wolves hunting us." Radagast said, "I will lure them away. You all run." He leapt onto a sled pulled by rabbits and raced off with Orcs and wolves chasing him, while Gandalf and the dwarves fled through an underground tunnel where the wolves nearly caught them. But they finally hid in a cave and escaped for the moment. Suddenly elves appeared, beautiful yet deadly. Within moments they wiped out the Orcs. The dwarves Gandalf and Bilbo barely escaped the battle and slipped away through a dark tunnel. They reached a mystical land, the realm of the elves, a place Bilbo had always dreamed of seeing. But Thorin disliked it greatly. He hated the elves, for when his people needed them most, they refused to help. Yet persuaded by Gandalf, Thorin and the dwarves reluctantly agreed to enter the elven realm. The elves welcomed them warmly, and Gandalf asked Thorin to hand over the map, so their king could examine it. At first Thorin hesitated, but in the end, he agreed. When Elrond studied the map, he discovered a hidden message. He explained that on Durin's Day, they must stand near a grey stone, where a secret door would appear, opened only by a special key. He added that Durin's Day is when the last moon of autumn and first sun of winter share the sky, and that day is drawing near. But Elrond also warned them, they are not the only ones seeking that mountain. Many other powers are moving toward it. At that moment, the White Wizard, a sorcerer equal in power to Gandalf, appeared and urged them not to take the mountain roads, where the dragon slept. He had slept for 60 years. If he woke, the world would burn. But legendary beings warned that if Smaug awakened and joined the enemy, disaster would surpass all imagination. They told Gandalf everything Radagast, the 5th brown wizard, had warned earlier. But the White Wizard refused to believe it. Then Elrond spoke sternly. 400 years ago, darkness consumed the world. Everything was destroyed. Only now have we regained peace. I do not wish to see that ruin return. So both the elves and the White Wizard refused to join Thorin's quest. Thorin already hated the elves and left without saying goodbye. After that, Thorin's company reached the Misty Mountains. People say that here living stone giants dwell, often battling each other. At first, no one believed it. But then, the valley shook, the sky thundered, and giant stone mountains rose and hurled rocks at one another. The ground trembled violently, and Thorin's group fled in terror, seeking refuge in a mountain cave. But once inside, they were attacked by goblins, vicious bloodthirsty creatures. All the dwarves were captured and dragged deep into the tunnels. Elsewhere, the brutal ORC lord, the one Thorin had maimed years before, had gone mad with hatred. He roared, "Find Thorin and bring me his head." Thorin believed Azog was dead, but he was still alive. And now in his eyes burned only hatred for Thorin and his entire line. While Thorin's group was imprisoned, the Goblin King laughed. "Someone is hunting you. His name is Azog, he wants you dead." The king sent word to his lieutenant to claim the bounty for the deaths of Thorin and his 13 dwarves. But Bilbo was not among them. When the goblins attacked, Bilbo fell into a deep chasm where no light reached. Another goblin tumbled after him. Both were knocked unconscious. In the darkness, a thin creature with glowing eyes appeared. He lived alone beside black pools, feeding on fish and raw meat. To survive, he possessed a mysterious ring of immense power. When he saw the unconscious goblin, he dragged it away, but the goblin awoke. Gollum went mad and smashed it with a rock. During the struggle, his precious ring fell from his pocket. From the shadows, Bilbo saw everything. He quietly crept closer, picked up the ring and slipped it into his pocket, unaware that he now held the fate of the world. Now, Bilbo had to find a way out of the darkness. Suddenly, Gollum appeared growling, "What are you doing here?" He meant to kill Bilbo, but Bilbo stayed calm and said, "Wait. Let us play a game." Bilbo said, "If I answer all your riddles, and you fail to answer mine, you must show me the way out." Gollum smiled slyly, and the deadly game began. Between freedom and death, they dueled with riddles of time and shadow. One after another, Bilbo answered them all. Finally, it was his turn. Bilbo softly asked, "Tell me what is in my pocket." Gollum guessed 3 times and failed each one. By the rules, he had to guide Bilbo out. But then Gollum realized his ring was gone. His eyes burned red as he shrieked. He took it. The thief stole it. Bilbo knew the danger was extreme. He ran slipping on the rocks. The ring fell from his pocket and slipped onto his finger, and instantly Bilbo vanished. Gollum could no longer see him, only the echo of footsteps in the dark. Only then did Bilbo realize this was no ordinary ring. It made its wearer invisible. Meanwhile, above, Gandalf reached where the dwarves were held. He attacked with magic. A fierce battle erupted. The Goblin King roared, but Gandalf struck and cut off his head. Amid smoke and screams, Thorin and the others escaped, racing through perilous mountain paths. Bilbo slowly crawled out of the darkness, but Gollum blocked his way. His eyes filled with madness and hatred. Bilbo drew his sword. He could have killed Gollum then, but he stopped. In that moment, Bilbo felt pity for the wretched creature, twisted by loneliness and greed. He spared Gollum and leapt past him, running toward the light. Behind him, Gollum's screams echoed through the tunnels. From that moment on, the fire of hatred burned in Gollum's heart toward Bilbo. Outside, Bilbo reunited with Thorin and the dwarves. They were astonished to see him alive, but their relief was brief. Howls echoed from the sky. Azog and his ORC riders had arrived. The group fled to the edge of a high cliff. A chasm ahead, death behind. Gandalf shouted, "Climb the trees, hurry." They climbed as wolves leapt, shaking the branches. Howls, barks, and the stench of death filled the air. Gandalf raised his staff and chanted. Burning pine cones fell, engulfing the wolves in flame. ORCs were incinerated, smoke rising skyward, but they were still trapped. Fire below, fragile branches above. Then fate led them to a final clash between Thorin and Azog. Thorin saw Azog and rage exploded. He charged, sword drawn, but Azog was stronger. His wolf seized Thorin and flung him aside. Azog ordered him beheaded. As the blade was raised, Bilbo rushed in to save Thorin. But he was only a small hobbit, facing monstrous foes. 4 wolf riders charged to kill him. When the other dwarves leapt down to fight, a brutal battle followed. They grew exhausted. Then from the sky, Giant eagles swooped down like thunder, snatching ORCs in their talons, dropping them into the abyss. Thus Thorin and all were saved. Those eagles were sent by the elven lady. At Gandalf's request, she trusted his words. The great eagles carried them to safety. Far from danger, below Azog and his forces could only glare in fury. When they were set down, Thorin approached Bilbo and said, "I was wrong. I did not trust you. I thought you unworthy. Never have I been so mistaken." Then he embraced Bilbo. Bilbo still kept the powerful ring hidden and told no one. All gazed toward the distant mountain, once their peaceful home, now claimed by the dragon. Deep inside, where Smaug had slept 60 years, his eyes now opened, fire blazing, and the tale ended there, heralding a new chapter ahead.